you can't just disappear people without any sort of trial.
Well, but sorry to interrupt.
And deportation is not the same thing as sending someone to a prison.
But you are allowed to deport under the Alien Enemies Act.
Correct.
Someone who is part of a recognized terrorist organization.
Well,
it's also expedited release.
They're trying to invalidate it because it doesn't really apply to this, that it's stretching.
I mean, how is MS-13 not a terrorist organization?
Yeah.
Start right here. All right, folks, get ready for a heated argument that will have everyone talking. Bill Maher, the spokesperson for Hollywood liberals, was placed in the hot seat and forced to deal with Charlie Kirk. Yes, the honest, conservative firebrand. The sparks really flew when Kirk confronted Maher on his obviously disparate views on significant issues like immigration and the homelessness crisis, especially in places like Los Angeles.
Crazy.
Where they had drug injection sites, basically.
Yeah,
right?
That's so sad.
No, I know, but that was a public policy position
that,
of Seattle, Portland, and San Francisco.
That's the low-lying fruit for you right-wing.
No, that's
it's
a question.
No, but isn't it?
I want to create...
It's the low-lying fruit. It's like no.
Sure, it's a
right,
it's a boundary. I want to create a boundary,
and you're right. You know, I mean, again, I'm for picking that fruit too. It's silly to help drug addicts be drug addicts and keep them on the street. It's stupid to keep homeless on the street.
Oh, I totally agree.
There's another way. Liberals are different than the woke. The liberal thing for forever was, for compassion's sake, get them off the street. That's not the woke version. Their version is, they're an endangered species. Don't touch them in their natural habitat, living under a bridge.
Let them defecate. Let them do whatever they want.
It's their thing. And, you know, I mean, there should be nothing more basic than a government claiming the streets. The streets are for the citizens. Then it's not to live in. Build a barracks. I mean, why are these things, maybe you can answer, why are these kind of things so difficult? You think, such common sense. Build a fucking barracks. I know homeless people say they don't want to live there. You don't have a choice. Oh, we'll get robbed there. Hire security. It's pennies on the dollar. Why is it so difficult? I feel like I, with no real knowledge of this field, could do it. Could just, if I had people who would carry out I would say, okay, get me specs. I want to see where a place we could build it. I want to see what the barracks looks like. I want to see who works there. Is it really in the toilets, whatever? And somebody must be Mitt Romney, somebody who did the Olympics, somebody who could come in and
we know how to clean up the streets. I mean, Gavin Newsom cleaned up the streets of San Francisco when Xi Jinping showed up. I mean, it's just an act of the will. They don't want to do it.
Right, like when they get the whores off the street, when the mayor is like doing one of those cleanup.
Or like when the MLB All-Star Game goes to Seattle all of a sudden.
Everyone is watching as Kirk questions Mayor's priorities. Does he genuinely care about the safety of the American people? Or is he just another elite that is ignoring the situation? In this violent altercation, viewers are left wondering who is really at fault. Do you want more truth bombs like this one? In order to keep us going, please click the subscribe button. You also won't want to miss what follows. Consequently, fiery exchange start. Let's go right to this contentious exchange between Bill Maher and Charlie Kirk. People, there's never been a more impassioned moment on live television. It all started when Kirk inquired about Maher's thoughts on the treatment of homeless persons.
Have to get into the weeds.
There's even new evidence in the last couple of hours that you lead the conversation. You tell me how deep you want to go on it.
None.
Okay.
I mean, but I hope that if it comes to light, let me button it up this way. I hope that if it does come to light, that there really is no evidence that this guy was a gang member, that he got swept up, which is very understandable. That when you do a sweep, when you're doing big things, yes, nothing is going to go perfect. But if it does come to light, I would hope that some Republicans have the spine to say, yeah, that's not right. This guy should not be there. I mean, the Bill of Rights, it's pretty clear that you can't just disappear people without any sort of trial.
Well, but sorry to interrupt.
And deportation is not the same thing as sending someone to a prison.
But you are allowed to deport under the Alien Enemies Act.
Correct.
Someone who is part of a recognized terrorist organization, which MS-13 is pretty close to a terrorist organization.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you're bending all these
And
words.
he's not an American citizen. You got to acknowledge that.
No, absolutely
right?
not.
So that's
Aren't you aware of the problem of homelessness in cities like Los Angeles? But Charlie was not holding back. He attacked Maher, saying that these seemingly selfless ideas end up hurting the people they are supposed to help.
I thought he was waiting for asylum.
you could be illegal waiting for asylum.
I see. So they could deport him. That's right.
Yes.
But we never did it, but to a prison.
It's an
What?
edge case. I acknowledge it's on the edge.
Okay,
But-
good.
No, but the edge is, so there's 3 ways you can deport people. It could be the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. It can be
Used only 3 times.
That's fine, but hey, look,
and
you quote the First Amendment all the time. That's from 1787, right? So old things are important. No, I'm just saying, just
but
because
that's been used. That's been used more than 3 times.
fair enough, but just because things are old doesn't mean, and I'm not saying
No.
you're using
No,
that talking
I
point,
get-
but some
I-
people are trying to invalidate it just because it's old.
Well,
It's also expedited release.
they're trying to invalidate it because it doesn't really apply to this. That it's stretching.
I mean, how is MS-13
But-
not a terrorist organization?
Yeah,
I mean,
you can make
or
that.
Tren de Aragua. I mean,
Well, I mean,
organized.
Suffice it to say, it's not about letting people rot on the streets, Maher remarked. Instead, he advanced the liberal idea that showing compassion means helping people get through difficult times. However, immigration highlights the subject of immigration then underwent a significant change and emerged as the primary focus of conversation. Kirk launched directly into the immigration laws and the classification of organizations like MS-13 in his characteristically direct style. He demanded explanations. Why aren't they regarded as a national security threat, considering how clearly their acts put Americans in danger? MR, who was visibly a little startled, responded that labeling someone a terrorist and deporting them are 2 entirely different things. But it was not acceptable to Kirk. I mean, come on. Maher tried to exercise caution, emphasizing that it is impossible to establish a direct connection between gang members and terrorist organizations in the absence of concrete evidence. Kirk, though, pushed back hard. He continued to expose what he saw as the hypocrisy of Maher's liberal stance. Why, he wondered, do Democrats sometimes not press charges against actual threats? Isn't that only tailoring the rules to their needs? The tension grew when Kirk eloquently outlined a scenario in which liberals, including MR, are accused of prioritizing the protection of criminals over that of American residents. He persuasively argued that tougher immigration regulations are required, especially for those who are threatening or committing crimes. The back-and-forth discussion on terrorism intensified when Maher raised the point that proof is required before labeling someone a terrorist. He asserts that imprisoning someone for being a known terrorist and deporting them are 2 very different things. But Kirk reiterated his position, saying MS-13 acts like terrorist organizations. Maher replied, "Isn't it time we address this honestly without letting political correctness muddy the waters?" Maher tried to defuse the situation by saying it was more about legal complexities than being soft, but Kirk saw this as political dodge as the tension mounted. It was a hard sell. Given the importance of due process and the American legal system, Maher attempted to shift the conversation while Kirk continued to emphasize public safety and how loose regulations are jeopardizing it. He seemed to suggest that since even our strongest institutions may occasionally fail, striking a proper balance is crucial. Kirk, however, kept up the pressure. He questioned MR directly about his belief in America's safety first, citing these controversial measures as evidence of misplaced priorities. MR, caught in the crossfire, wanted to demonstrate that supporting liberal principles does not mean putting America's security at risk. But to the audience, Kirk seemed to be wearing him down. Safety versus caring, they had a contentious debate on what true compassion is, with Maher arguing for the human element and Kirk focusing on safety and accountability. Their heated argument revolved around Maher's attempt to distinguish between liberals and what he called woke ideology. According to him, the woke viewpoint supports letting people live their lives as they see fit, regardless of the consequences. Kirk, however, attacked this as avoiding responsibility, saying, national security and public safety should be the top priorities of policy in the end. Viewers witnessed more of an unraveling, appealing out of the layers of liberal ideals when faced with difficult conservative topics. It also, to be honest, provided you guys a sense of how even famous people like Maher may be surrounded by constant criticism. Charlie Kirk's approach seems to be less about avoiding the problem and more about taking direct aim. By questioning the rank-and-file prioritization within liberal beliefs, he was able to draw attention to what many conservatives perceive to be glaring contradictions in them. Maher did his best to remain calm during this trauma and to highlight the virtues of democracy, free speech, evidence before judgment, and liberalism, values that conservatism itself does not deny. Many, however, believed that Kirk's direct, plain inquiries could not be disregarded since they demanded accountability and prompt answers. The conclusion of Clash of Ideologies stated that this was not simply another TV appearance. It was a battle over the value of language and a clash of philosophies. It also left viewers with a lot to ponder. This exchange, if anything, is more proof that no one is allowed to get away with anything in the world of politics and public opinion. By now, you might be wondering who really had the upper hand. Was it Charlie's relentless arguments that took front stage, or was it the conventional liberal defense? According to some, it depends on your perspective. There are many who contend that it is evident. Anyway, I'd want to hear what you think. Let's see where everyone is at this point, and why not post a comment below? Have you changed your mind, or have your beliefs only gotten more pronounced? Share your thoughts with us.